Paul Manafort prison sentence backed by 2017 federal data. USA Today Network presents Virtually There, a weekly virtual reality series that delivers amazing adventures, extreme nature, sports fantasies, and the world's most fascinating people. We don't just have an existing account? Already have a subscription? Don't have an account? Let friends in your social network know what you are reading about. Data from the U.S. Sentencing Commission for 2017 shows Paul Manafort is not alone in receiving a lesser sentence. A link has been sent to your friend's email address. A link has been posted to your Facebook feed. To find out more about Facebook commenting, please read the Washington. Within moments of Paul Manafort being sentenced to in federal prison, there was shock on cable news and online. It was a far cry from the 12 to 25 years he could have been ordered to serve behind bars. Many outlined cases in which defendants accused of lesser crimes were given much harsher punishments. Some used the case, others target D.S. District Judge T. The issue sparked debate on how much time President Donald Trump's former campaign chairman should spend behind bars and why the sentence was considerably below what sentencing guidelines called for and what prosecutors had noted in court filing. But data from the U.S. Sentencing Commission for 2017 shows that Manafort is not alone in receiving a lesser sentence. A link has been posted to your Facebook feed. In the Eastern District of Virginia, where Manafort was sentenced, about a quarter of defendants were sentenced below federal guidelines. A fiscal year shows that about two-thirds of defendants are received sentences that fit within the guidelines. For fraud cases, in particular, the Eastern District weighs a harsher on defendants than the national average. Defendants data shows the Eastern District took up 126 fraud cases in 2017. When it came to drug and gun crimes, the sentences varied but were higher in the Eastern District of Virginia than national averages. Data shows the Eastern District handed down an average of a 66-month sentence for firearm charges, whereas the national average was 52 months. For drug traffic, of course, handing down a sentence is complex and judges consider an array of information, including who was harmed, any previous crimes and the sheer size of the crime. A jury in Virginia convicted Manafort of 8 charges, including bank and tax fraud, after a 3-week trial last summer. The case, in explaining his sentencing decision, Ellis said it. As an example, he cited a previous case that involved a more substantial loss to victims. In that case, Ellis also raised pointed questions about whether Manafort deserved credit for cooperation with prosecutors in the related criminal case in the District of Columbia, where he agreed to plead guilty and assist the special counsel in the ongoing inquiry into Russian interference in the 2016 election. Prosecutor Greg Andres told Ellis that Manafort deserved no credit, describing how the cooperation agreement collapsed when Manafort repeatedly lied to prosecutors and to a federal grand jury. In the 50 hours Manafort spent with prosecutors as part of the cooperation agreement, Andres said Manafort provided no useful information. The prosecutors, Ellis, also questioned whether Manafort intended to defraud bank authorities on a $5.5 million loan application by not disclosing the existence of a separate outstanding loan, suggesting that it might have been an oversight by a very. The notions did not sit well with others, including Democratic lawmakers. The difference in Manafort's sentence from that of someone who commits a drug or gun violation was noted by many attorneys, public defenders, and former federal prosecutors on social media Thursday. Scott Heckinger, who serves as a public defender in New York for the Brooklyn Defender Services, outlined an array of cases he and his colleagues have worked. including a client that he said on Wednesday was offered a sentence by prosecutors of between 36 to 72 months for stealing $100 in quarters from a residential laundry room. He said the offer was a result of the crime being considered a second-degree felony in New York, where the minimum sentence is listed as 3-1/2 years. For context on Manafort's 47 months in prison, my client yesterday was offered 36-72 months in prison for stealing $100 worth of quarters from a residential laundry room. Heckinger said he was not advocating for harsher sentences or that Manafort should serve more time, but wanted to showcase the Ken White, an attorney and former federal prosecutor, said on Twitter that Manafort's sentence was one defense. In an interview with USA Today, White added that Ellis' leniency wasn't a sign of bias. He noted Ellis' track record of opposing mandatory minimum sentences for drug and gun crimes that constrain judges to hand down harsh sentences but allow broad. White noted that while this case may be a good example in the harsh realities of the criminal justice system, it's just one of many similar cases. In addition to 47 months in prison, Ellis ordered Manafort to pay a $50,000 fine and approximately $24 million in restitution, and to spend an additional 3 years on federal supervision. Ellis said the Ellis decision is not the end for Manafort. He will be sentenced again next week in a related case in Washington, where he faces an additional 10 years in prison after pleading guilty to conspiracy charges for failing to report his lobbying work in Ukraine and tampering with witnesses. Contributing Kevin Johnson, Brad Heath, and Christine Phillips.